Video. Camera mode.
All right.
Stop recording.
Now,
Shining Bolt Audio wants to send you a message.
Super Blind Man here. We're going to do a little review for you today. Sorry, I propped these up in a little bit of a half-assed manner, but I just wanted to get eyes on these cables and tell you about the differences between them. Now, to the right is AudioQuest's Forrest HDMI cable. To your left is Kimber Cable's HD19 cable. And as you can see, it's a big, robust sucker. Really big, robust. I mean, look at that. That's my thumb. Yo, okay. Wow. Let's go over the physical differences. Obviously, besides clearly diameter, the HD19.
0 hour 0 minute 58 seconds.
Oops, I'm touching stuff. The HD19, besides being physically bigger in diameter, obviously contains larger gauge wiring. The HD19 has 25 AWG, that is American width gauge conductors. To your right, the AudioQuest Forrest has 30 AWG. Now, this is not just a step down in gauge. This is 5 steps down in gauge. There is a reason why the cable to your right is a, $70 cable? And the one to your left, which actually it's gone down. I should revise that because, of course, it's not a current model cable. They're rolling out HDMI 2.1s, and so this is a little different. And forgive my thing, I guess it's kind of dusty. I haven't got around to dusting. So either way, hey, you know what? I'm blind. Give me a break. So let's get down to it. Now, of course, AudioQuest is a company who is known for, quite frankly, pseudoscience and BS and not quite being, straight up. Whereas Kimber Cable, whom I have not dealt with before, is known for really honestly just making a pretty good straightforward product. And honestly, if you look at the two cables, the particular philosophy of each cable isn't necessarily as embodied as you might think. The one on the right, the AudioQuest, looks fairly simple. It's nothing really too terribly special about it. It's a pretty straightforward, if nice, simple looking design. The Kimber cable, however, is a far more robust, larger in size, larger connector housing, larger diameter cable, of course, obviously. And this stuff is, don't know if you can hear that. And that's even with it rubbing up against the entertainment center here. It isn't that hard kind of nylon. It feels like a paracord, like it's paracord wrapped. Pretty interesting. It's just a softer nylon, kind of robust feel to it. So it's very nice. It feels good. The build quality is amazing. It is rather inflexible. So of any gripe, negative I could come away with, that would be it. But that, honestly, I don't care. I'm willing to sacrifice flexibility, honestly, for performance. And that having been said, let's talk about performance. First off, let us just state that, yes, I understand digital performance is digital performance. And there are people out here who are going to say, you're not going to, you wouldn't be able to hear it if I were sitting there switching cables because, quite frankly, the one cable is just nothing more than, either way, the cables are transporting ones and zeros, and it doesn't really matter. Okay, well, all right. I'll hand you that. It's ones and zeros. However, just like the Category 8 Ethernet that I previously talked about, let's be perfectly clear in stating that unlike a Category 8 Ethernet cable, an HDMI only does one thing. It sends bits through. Right now, okay, and let's let's back off from that because both cables do the same thing, right? It's what your computer does with it that's different, right? But your cable kind of can account for some measure of packet loss, okay, is the underlying thing I'm getting to here, all right? So packet loss, what's packet loss? Well, packet loss means that along the way, as bits were streaming through the cable and coming up and going from receiver, I guess receiver to TV, or likewise a media source to receiver, there were packets lost along the way. Something got lost in shipping. Okay, that's packet loss. So as you know, obviously, things that are streamed are bits, right? So as they come through, they are in a small digital bit form called a packet, right? And you're dealing with, lots of packets. An HDMI cable was designed to bring those across from point A to point B, source to destination. They're an interconnect cable, right? So that's what they do. Now, with the audioquest here, okay, what you're dealing with mainly is, look at the gauge difference, okay? There is 5 steps difference between that cable and that cable. That is a big-ass cable, folks. When you look at the two of those, okay, that is nearly 3 times the size of this cable. Okay, I'm not sure if it appears that way in this video. Hey, I'm blind. If it doesn't look like what I intend, give me a break. Okay, but the gauge difference is incredible. Furthermore, the conductor construction and the way that it is, you can tell this cable here, the HD19, is actually pretty inflexible. It's very hard to move. I would never dream of tampering with that too much because I don't want it to be ruined. Okay. This one here is it's extremely flexible. Of course it's flexible, right? It's smaller, it's thinner. There's far less conductor material in there, and you can tell, you can just wiggle around and mess with it. Okay. And that, again, doesn't matter. You could have a flexible cable that's as big as this one, right? But is it going to do what this one does? I mean, probably, if it's the same gauge of wire and such, so you could have done the conductors different to make it more flexible. But that's not the point. The point is, there are 5 steps in gauge of those conductors, and that means that the packets have a very large freeway per channel to run down. And quite frankly, the larger that is, right, the larger and less obstructed that road is, the easier, more effortless, more efficient, and with better quality the bits will arrive from one end to another. And when you're talking about streaming video, right, you're talking about, I have those big badass Ethernet cables I showed you guys. Now that goes over here to my Xbox and then goes through this HD19 to my receiver. Now I still have one of these from the receiver to the TV, okay? But this is what's running information from the Xbox to the receiver, and I can tell you it's making a massive difference. So getting straight to performance, without talking about bandwidth or, the reason why that's important, the performance is phenomenal. The differences were instantaneous between this and other cables I've used. I'll be honest, the one I just got for the Xbox One X was better than this one. And why? Because this one's actually broke. I've only had this cable for like not even a year, okay? About a year. All right, so I bought it, about a year. I bought it May of last year, May 20th, I believe. Okay, so I've only had this thing for a year, and it's broke. So I took it off. I'm not even using it. I took it off because my streaming services were telling me your HDMI cable isn't connected, right? So that tells you something about the build quality right there. And this should tell you something else about the build quality. I called up AudioQuest to see what I need to do about it, and the guy blatantly said, well, the sheer number of people requesting to have cables replaced is pretty pretty high, so we will do our best to process this request. And I'm just going, wow, that tells you a lot. Okay, that tells you a lot right there. But I can tell you, I bet $10 I'm never going to have that problem with this cable. There is nothing about this thing that feels mass production shit quality in the slightest. Like I said, the entire end, connector housing end, the cable itself, just the gauge of it, the feel of it. This was something that was built with care. Now, I've never dealt with Kimber cable before. This is my first Kimber product. And I have to say, it's impressing the hell out of me so far. I like it. I mean, it came in a cute little bag. Not that I care about that. It's not a performance issue, okay? It really isn't. But beyond packaging, I thought, hey, to have a nice little bag instead of a package, that's nice. And it's something that speaks to a company that's concerned about the environment. The bag is probably going to be used for something else, right? So that's a nice thing, I thought. That is thoughtful, mindful. And really, there's not anything about this cable that doesn't say those two words and embody those two words. Thoughtfully and mindfully produced, a good, strong connector, just thick, nice. Of course, it's got commercial logoing on it and the Kimber Cable brand, but overall, a very nicely built, well conceived and constructed cable that delivers quality beyond just about anything I've ever heard. So I've been impressed. And even, from there to the receiver being the only difference it's made, actually, I've noticed that black levels and colors and dynamics seem to pop just that much more, even though I don't have another one of these from there to the TV. And that's impressive. If it can make little changes like that, and noticeable ones at that, that's pretty impressive to me. I thought that's really genuinely nice. So it's clearly delivering a better signal to my receiver, and my receiver is able to deliver that to the destination, final destination being my TV. So in my opinion, I can tell you now, I'm going to, if I can afford it this next month, get another one of these from the receiver to the TV, because I feel it is making that kind of a difference. I'm really seeing it. I'm really feeling it, hearing it. And it's mostly sound, guys. Obviously, you know me. I'm partially blind. What I see on TV is subjective. I mean, it's all subjective anyway, right? But what I'm seeing on TV is open to probably wild speculation, but I will be perfectly clear in stating that I calibrate TVs to look a little better for my friends, and usually they tell me it does look quite a bit nicer when I do. So I have tended to be pretty good at that. So I pick out sharpness differences and color and things like that in the parts of my vision I can see in anymore. And so I can tell you it's made it just a small difference, just even being just this cable. So that's amazing. But in sound, and here's the difference there, because that's where it matters, right? Sound. This thing delivers an open, clean clarity with as much articulation and detail as you could possibly want from an interconnection cable. I've never been so impressed with an HDMI. At all times, I've been trying to get rid of the dirtiness on my TV. I mean, obviously, blacks are never black on an LCD, and this is an Edge LED LCD from Samsung, so it's not perfect. But this TV does have probably the nicest picture of any LCD so far I've ever seen, so it does look very nice. I believe it's a VA panel, and it's just really clear. Woo. Colby, you got the Colby. No, I don't, I swear. So anyway, uh, you know, so I was trying to, with everything, trying to clear that up as much as I could, and knowing that it was probably noise. And honestly, I plugged this in, and the noise went down dramatically from just my Xbox to my receiver, noticeably enough that it really cleared up on my TV, even though my TV, again, has one of these still going to it, one of the other forrest cables here, still going to it. And that impressed the shit out of me. I thought, what? Really? That's cool. So, yeah, definitely bottom line, I'm getting another one. And I'll probably get another one after that for any other um, components I wish to hook up. The sound is second to none. Second to none. I was really impressed. Everything opened up. The bass got a little more articulate, and full, which I know my speakers are capable of. So that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect that, and I got it, and I was really surprised. So yeah, mostly though, just spaciousness, openness. Cymbals seem to have a little bit better decay when I was listening to high res music through it, as well as any concerts or things on Blu-ray or any of the content that I enjoy. I was really enjoying the hell out of it a lot more due to this cable, and this cable alone made that big a difference. It was $225 shipped. Again, Kimber Cable HD19. That was for 1.5 meter cable, and I highly recommend it. I think it is a fantastic, phenomenal product. I will be checking out Kimber in the future, and honestly, for you guys, I suggest you do as well. This really is just a beautiful cable, so I hope you enjoyed. This is Super Blind Man signing off, and yeah, honestly, I hope you enjoy it. Pick one up, give it a try. I know you'll like it. Thank you, and please, if you will, doesn't take much time, click that subscribe and like for me. And of course, click the bell notification icon so that you will be hit up when more videos post. I thank you so much, and I appreciate all the reviews, all of your subscriptions. You guys have a great, wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Stop recording.